let's just make a few rapid fire, different random scenarios, okay? Modernization, public toilets, yes? The Tudor holes,
Yeah.
okay? What do we call them? Stinky. Anyway, but even still, what could be a risk associated with a public toilet? Especially very busy ones. Got to be very careful in today's world of technology. Is there any way of sweeping it? Not with a broom, but with a bug detector. Very small little camera could be put into these. Interesting, isn't it? Some people could say this is projecting, but no, think like a criminal to beat a criminal, is it not?
Yeah.
Because if not, we'd have to believe that all police officers are criminals.
Yeah.
But they're not. Anyway, you learn from them. So, in a very weird sort of society that we do live in, I mean, you've heard a few incidences, probably best to keep your eyes open. That's an interesting sort of risk. Okay, what else is there? What else could there be? Cars, mandatory to be fitted with all types of ways to shut down the car.
Yeah.
No more wild police chases, which saves the officer and the public, and the criminals get apprehended much more quicker. Multiple devices, mandatory to be able to shut down a car instantly. Get behind it, into a pursuit, and shoo! There we are. Off the road, nicely done. XYZ. What else? Here's one for you. Okay, so people say about bloodlines, yes? And different things like that. So we understand about Darwin, yes?
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. So, social media, okay? A lot of the time gets a bad rap, but most of the time it's pretty good, right? What happens if you have hereditary social media accounts that you pass on to your children? Now, this is an interesting one, right? So, if we go back to times of Darwin and we understand that social media may have been around back then, let's say,
Yeah.
And let's say it's like doing videos and different stuff like that. Okay, what we should see is an enhancement over the generations. So let's fast forward 1,000,000 years into the future with social media, yes?
Yeah.
And let's say that an account was made back in the times of Darwin, so we can move it up to now. Even still, that's not quite 1,000,000 years, but still. And let's say Darwin started off the theory of evolution, yes? And then the media account passes over to son, daughter, whoever, children. And then this social media account, after they've done their theories, move on with the theories, move on with the theory. Next child, move on with the theory. Next child, move on with the theory. Do you think that we would see an enhancement of the theories? A molding, a shaping, a creation moving forward?
Yeah.
And could you imagine this in the future to look back at all of that progression? And maybe some of your children go off in a different direction, but maybe some follow in your footsteps. However, perhaps it's, Darwin might have had a son, let's assume, and wasn't following that for a bit, but just did some random stuff. And then we might see that great-grandson might pick up in the tracks, pick up where one left off. And not only do we have cell memory coming into that, we also have real life shaping with the new knowledge that comes in. This is my favorite one, is with Einstein and following the history, right? So Einstein starts the theory of relativity, right? Passes it down, social media account, passes it down, social media account. These things are incredibly beautiful tools if used in the correct way. We often like a lot of independence to have our own stuff. Appreciate that. But what happens if you have a multi-platform as a family social media? Depends on what the family is doing, perhaps, especially when it comes to ideas. And then if I look at doctors or scientists, and they keep passing this down, keep passing it down, or they have multiple people in the family that subcategorize the account. So one part goes here, one part goes here, and it's basically the same account, but it's just branched out as a family. And each one's keep on enhancing this data at the end of the day. And keep going with Einstein, keep going. So what is known now? So Einstein might have been in a little bit of hesitation with certain things, right? Because there was no way to know for himself. He's got a hunch, it's a theory, it's thought, it's predictive. Very psychic, but long-term psychic abilities I like more so. Fascinating, spooky, and then some things start to get proved correct, right? other things drop off. Of course, not everything is going to be, absolutely right. However, let's say that with a lot of the things that are true, that then will give the confidence to the next family members to also think deeply, because if great grandpa did it, great grandfather, being Einstein, had done this, then there's a chance that, you can keep going with this theory. Now, how great is that for society moving forwards as a whole? I mean, it then becomes YouTube, yes, as a social media, but it also comes a lesson for anybody to watch back and binge watch Lives, binge watch Hereditary, binge watch all of this sort of stuff. And it becomes quite a fascinating database, really, doesn't it? What's your opinion on that? I know what my opinion on that is fucking me. That would be awesome to be able to watch all of that progression over time, wouldn't it? And then the theories that are confirmed versus the ones that are dropped allows the bloodline to enhance that. And again, the ones that go and set about to prove that also build their own social media of how they went to prove that. And then they follow a path from one bloodline to another bloodline of proving, disproving, and basically everybody is then helping to shape this. How much more evolved would we be in the future if we were able to pass all of this stuff down? And could you imagine that a video that goes back in the quality would be one thing that would stand out, that would be very, because the technology is going to advance over time.
Yeah.
That would be quite a fascinating lesson, really, wouldn't it? Right there, raw, real life, one generation to another. And it's really great for the individuals that pass it down, isn't it? As opposed to having your account deleted, so to speak.
Yeah.
You pass this down. Hereditary, never a family heirloom. Materialistic things are, well, nice, but I think true value comes from our brains. I think true value comes from what we think, how we are, la-di-da-di-da. And I think this helps us refine, doesn't it, as we move on, so to speak. It's fascinating if you look at this from Egyptian times, as we look at the scarab beetle, or dung beetle, for argument's sake. Yeah. It begins to roll a massive amount of dung, shapes it, loves it. But imagine it, and they do pass this down, but it's in a very weird way. When one leaves one, the other one might take that pre-rolled anyway, and it's a bit of a weird thing, but even still accumulating all of that stuff. And could you imagine if a dung beetle, from the day that they evolved into what they are to push this back, could you imagine what they've collected inside that, layer by layer, year by year? And would this strengthen the dung beetle through evolution, because it's got to push that massive load? Then the next offspring become even stronger, because the load is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, heavier and heavier. And will it begin to advance the species? That's a fascinating thing. And that helps you see the mental, or perhaps if we look at it as accumulation of mental information, if we like, we keep pushing it and evolving it, and it accumulates things from the times and predictive. And does that make us stronger? Does this enhance what we are? Yeah. And how does this serve the future? I mean, any theories that you make that serve the future, okay, it doesn't matter about now. There's no quick rewards on this process. It's long-term. And the future will prove or disprove, and perhaps there will be a few generations that sit back inside a craft of such nature and think, wow, if you didn't do that, would we be here now? Also, education is very important. I think that being stuck in our ways is great, but also to be able to, if new information come in from the future, would you change to it? Or would you stay stuck living as you are now?
You change, you learn something new, don't you?
Yes, it's a very interesting sort of process, isn't it? And it often makes you wonder about what type of future looks like in this sort of way. So resurrection is an interesting thing, and I want to get on with this one on another video, perhaps not bleed it into this one too much, but still. Could you imagine holding on to these sort of accounts, this information, and a past you, that if you go and watch these particular videos, do you begin to accumulate your your past version of what you were, and you begin to remember, so to speak. This is a very fascinating thing. Yeah, I'm going to go on to another video with this one because if not, it's too complex to explain it. So yeah, but even still, social media accounts that pass on. So yes, just wooing all of this sort of stuff is a very fascinating thing. Passing on social media accounts, I like that. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave this one here. There were just a few that I wanted to cover, and that was it.